We very close to that. So help me to help you. The Greatness 19 channel on YouTube. And continue to train on the Greatness 19 channel. Also subscribe to Mr. Evolution of London. That's our health and wellness channel. Different videos on health and wellness. So subscribe to that also. Mr. Evolution of London. Music. Cheap Limousine channel on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and share to the Cheap Limousine channel. He have a whole wide range of different beats, as you're hearing right now. So I need y'all guys to support Cheap Limousine channel on YouTube. And once you go to his page, you will see other social media sites. So support his social media. Cheap Limousine channel on YouTube. I need y'all guys to check out every Friday night Oliver Twist, 130 King Street. Every Friday night, Uptown Saturday Night. Oh, sorry. I'm thinking about the movie. Pardon me. Uptown Friday Night. Uptown Friday Night on the ones and twos. DJ Panthro. Starting time is 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. Downtown London, Ontario. Covent Garden Market. And Oliver Twist telephone number is 519-204-9184. And again, locations 130 King Street. Now, DJ Panther basically give you a wide range of old school and new school. And again, he's one of the best DJs in southwestern Ontario. I heard a lot of great things from DJ Panther. Support the machine. And again, it is written. AT cell phone repair. AT cell phone repair. They have two locations. First location, 1401 Ernest Avenue, Unit 15. Again, that's London, Ontario. They've been in business for over 20 years. Contact Freedom. Yes, that's his name, Freedom. Business email at the first location is atcellphonerepair@gmail.com. There they sell computers, iPods, iPads, all different types of cell phones and accessories. Again, telephone number is 519-204-7300. And their second location is 93 Wellington Street North, again, London, Ontario. Their toll-free number, 877-358-0026. They wholesale at that location, the 93 Wellington Street North. And they wholesale computers, iPads, iPods, accessories on all different types of phones. Their local number is 226-503-3300. And again, their toll-free number is 877-358-0026. They're number one for parts and accessories in London, Ontario. And they also provide security cameras and install them. Email at that location is atwholesaler@gmail.com. That's atwholeseler@gmail.com. Mr. Will, he's been a fitness consultant for over 15 years. I need you guys to support, and if you want to book a free consultation, email him at williesfitness99@gmail.com. That's Willies, WILLYZ, fitness99@gmail.com. And also, support his merchandise, www.wjaaccessories.org, for custom clothing, accessories, and digital products as well. Now, the Oracle 19 is on all major platforms. We're on Anchor.fm, Google, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, just to name a few. So I need y'all guys to like, subscribe, and share to the Oracle 19 podcast. Anything I haven't mentioned will be on the Oracle 19 podcast description box, or Mr. Evolution of London, your Greatness 19 channel. And finally, www.oracle19radio.com. And again, I'd like to thank for your countries that continue supporting me. And I'm going to give you the list of countries that is checking me all over the world. And again, thank you. That's Switzerland, Ireland, Croatia, Netherlands, Dominican Republic, Sweden, Trinidad and Tobago, South Africa, U.S., Canada, Germany, UK, Philippines, Iran, Italy, Ukraine, Nigeria, Haiti, Singapore, Sri Lanka, Poland, Australia, Ghana, Bahamas, Namibia, Mexico, India, Japan, Norway, Malaysia, New Zealand, Spain, Kenya, Romania, Colombia, and finally, what I see today, Denmark. Yes, Denmark just recently. So again, thank you as we roll along. All right, well, today I'm going to give, as usual, my perspective. And again, that might rub people the wrong way, but it's my perspective. And today we're going to talk about the topic today is freedom of speech. Yes. Freedom of speech. It's a dying art. And with all of these privacy acts, these privacy laws that is being implemented yearly throughout the North America, U.S., Canada, and all over the world for that matter, but I'm focusing, of course, on the U.S., but North America, U.S. and Canada. Not Mexico per se, because they have their different laws and it's not governed by the government, it's governed by the cartel, in my opinion. So it's a little bit different. Or should I say slightly, because in theory, U.S. have their own cartel, which is the elitists. So I guess that could be considered the same thing. You decide about that. But anyway, let's get to the topic, freedom of speech. Nowadays, the words that you say, whether it's in the streets, at work, it's becoming more and more limited. Just think, let's say throughout social media, how they ban and cancel people for certain words that they say. Years ago, let's say the word, and again, this is nothing personal, the word fag, F-A-G, also mean a cigarette, I believe in the UK, but also was a derogatory word used for homosexuals. But years ago when you said that word, and I'm not saying good or bad, that just 30 years ago, 40 years ago, that word was just slanged all over the place, mentioned when you're talking about homosexuals, and it is what it is. Now, you basically could get canceled throughout social media. And I'm not saying good or bad, up and down, okay? I'm just saying freedom of speech. Some people say certain freedom, certain speeches, certain things, words, is good to be banned. Okay, I get it. But nowadays, certain words, if you just say certain jobs, I've been getting information, my man Carlito talk about this, certain words on his job you can't even say. And this is on many jobs. I believe Carlito told me this. Kill. The word kill. K-I-L-L. You're not saying you're going to do it. Let's say you're working hard and say, yeah, I'm killing it. Meaning that you performing well at the job or performing well on your task. I'm killing it today. Or maybe you worked overtime and use a slang, which is just a metaphor. Hey man, I killed it this week. Meaning that you made a lot of money for yourself. That can get you fired. That possibly can get you fired. Actually, that's grounds for you to get fired or suspended. And that stems from because there's been unfortunate shootings and stuff at schools and theaters and jobs and stuff. So people get on high alert when they hear that word. But my question is, are we just conditioned? Are we being conditioned to be put in this matrix? We just allowed to go like rats in a maze, going through a maze. We only allowed to go in this spot at this time, then that spot at that time, and then cross over at this time. So to bring it to become more clear with this conversation, you're not allowed. You can't say certain things. Because they're coming for you. They, powers that be. Nowadays, you have to be careful even the words of you saying who. Because we don't own social media. Yeah, we rent out certain websites to allow us to speak, but there's privacy laws. What do I mean by all of this? We could be on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and some of our social media channels, we get into politics and the powers that be, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and we denounce them, so forth and so on. But in theory, they own social media. Step one. Step two. They not only own, but they work in conjunction with the government. Basically, they are over government. Because if the person that is controlling the money has the power, and your elite groups like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers control the money, which in turn they own the government. Federal Reserve, let's just use that as an example. It's not government owned, it's private owned. They the one ushering the money to the banks. They control how much money is going to flow within the system, the country. And they tax the bank interest rates, and then the bank tax us. They control politics. Who comes in and out of office? Because why? They control the money. So they have a great influence of implementing laws, privacy laws, at the job or in society. Make no mistake about it. Now, that might sound like I'm being a conspiracy theorist. No, I'm not. If you do research, it's right in front of you. Research who owns the Federal Reserve. Is it a private corporation or is it owned by the government? That you can start with that first. And find out these major companies, who really owns them. You see, rich people, especially the elitists, the Rockefellers and Rothschilds, they don't have their name on as owners of these corporations. They call them shareholders. And they formulate groups. Of directors, which the elitists don't have to put their name on it as the top person. They hire a CEO/president to run the investment company, and they will pay that CEO $1 million, a couple $1 million to run the company, to have their name as the owner, or basically the chief officer. So many different titles. But the shareholder, the one with the most shares, is the true owner. But being they are a corporation, you can't target that one individual. I hope I'm not getting deep here. That is becoming confusing. This is just part of business. It's how's business done now, the new hustle. Or it's actually the old hustle, but we as citizens is just getting put on to this new old game. And I'm going to get to the topic of freedom of speech. I'm tied in. Just give me a moment and walk with me with this. So, the way it works now with these big corporations, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and these other corporations, investment groups throughout the United States and world, they have shareholders. And they even do it differently. Let's say, for example, Pfizer. Who owns Pfizer? Let's say a shareholding group owns Pfizer. They don't use one individual. A shareholding group owns Pfizer, or have most of the shares of ownership of Pfizer. So you really, is a slippery slope. You really don't know who's the primary number one owner, because it's investment groups that own other investment groups. And it's like 6 or 7 major corporations that basically they dominate the world. From Viacom, Procter & Gamble, Disney. It's corporations that own Disney. Corporations that own Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson. It's a game, so you really don't know who the true owner is. That's how these elitists work. Now we got through that. I hope it's a little bit clear. Now I'm going to bring it back to the freedom of speech. They control the money. They dictate the real laws that need to be passed. They buy out politicians and presidents. Don't think your president is controlling things. Do you really think your presidents in North America, or prime minister or president, is really controlling that country? Do you really think so? Or do you think he's a public relations person? Benefits of being a president, you might make a initial salary they have to spit out. Okay, you might make a couple $100,000, quote unquote, serving the people. But the benefits behind the scenes, the endorsements you get to become president, millions and millions of dollars you're getting for what they say, advertisement. Do you need $50 million to advertise? Hell, just a couple of posters and handshakes and a couple of appearances on TV can get you known. And post yourself on Facebook, which is free, can get yourself known. But how you get $50 million, $100 million for your campaign? And who's giving it to you? Oh, private entities. Who is these private entities in the US and Canada? Who do you think? It's these oil companies, and you get names of CEOs that have given that money, but they just CEOs. But who is the top person that runs that corporation? You don't know. But I know. Do you know? So the ones that give money and control the money can implement new laws. And they're implementing new laws, privacy laws, to restrict the population, to dumb you down. Certain words that you can't say on the job. Why is the push for homosexuality nowadays? Have you thought about it? I talked about it on the shows. And you're not allowed to say certain words about homosexuals or debate. You're against them. If you start saying you are against them, against their philosophies, their lifestyle, you could be fired from your job. You could possibly be sued, depending on what you say. But freedom of speech. Let's say, for example, you say, I'm against homosexuality. That would be a big stink because you saying you're against it. You could just say those words, I'm against it. And if you are somebody, you could be fired from your job. Or you could be a nobody, you could be fired from your job. But let's say I said this. Let's say, for example, I use this word. I'm against homosexuality. And let's say I had a million views and so forth. Guess what? I could be taken off of social media just because I'm saying I'm against homosexuality. Stating my opinions can get me banned. Why is there a big push for homosexuality? Is it maybe because you speak if you have homosexuals, the rise of homosexuals? Let me clarify it, backtrack, and speak a little bit more clearly with this. By the rise of homosexuality means less population. Where you going to get two men? Where they going with this? Unless you're going to deal with artificial insemination. But they know that's not the norm. Where you going to go with this with two women? Is this another way to dumb down the population? And then if you speaking against homosexuality, as I mentioned, now you're the bad and evil person. The rise of feminism. If you call it like how you see it, there's women and there's females, and I mention this on many different shows. I don't have a problem with women, but I have a problem with females. Because if you say this on the job, you still can get fired. And they will say, you hate women. No, even though you broke it down, there's women and there's females. You still can get fired. Freedom of speech is gone. And again, even on social media, you can't use the word kill, K-I-L-L. You could be flagged or shadow banned. And just in case you don't know, shadow ban is basically they won't make your videos popular. That's one of the ways. They will dumb down your videos. So, and they have a way to do it. Okay, so they say maybe use terminology. Hey, yo, what's up? I'ma kill you, yo, man. You crazy. Okay, they use that terminology. But let's say you live in the suburbs where the people is not used to certain metaphors, certain slangs, and you use that terminology. I'ma kill you or you crazy. Some of these people would think, are you really disrespecting me saying I'm crazy? Or are you really going to kill me? And then they want to call the law in that region. And in that region, they might arrest you for saying certain terminology. Freedom of speech. So it's very important to know where you live would dictate how far you can go with the words that you use. You should know the country, the city, the province, the state, the village, the town where you reside. Have to know the playing field where you at in order so you can know what you can and cannot say or should not say. And that applies to social media too. The words you say in social media, let's say if it was in China, they don't have their social media, they ban a lot of social media out there. So you can't say certain things anyway. Where in North America, certain things you can say. In certain countries, you talking about I'm a homosexual, feel like, oh, what can I do? I gotta work, I gotta eat, I gotta make a living. I totally understand that. But you also are an adult, a grown man, a grown woman. This is why, if you watch movies, and I highly suggest that you watch a movie called The Matrix. Part 1, 2, and 3, 4. Watch The Matrix. Because you have to learn to survive. What do I mean by this? As your rights is becoming more limited, infringed, you have to learn to live a basic life. Learn to live a basic life. A lot of you individuals don't really know how to live a basic life. You know, your phone could be tapped because these smartphones, these smart TVs, these smart radios, these laptops, all this electronic stuff, powers that be can still hone into you and listen to your conversations. And still make it hard for you. It could go down like that. And then you remember FEMA, F-E-M-A, I forgot, Federal Emergency Management Association, the government entity. They can say, pick out a natural disaster. If they claim it's a natural disaster in your region, then bedtime for you, buddy. Bedtime for you. And what do I mean? They can dictate a time where all citizens is in the house. Heck, this pandemic was a prime example. Limited. They played with our minds. Bedtime was at this time. You had to take this shot. If you don't, you can't go here. You can't go there. You can't buy here. All your freedoms was being taken away in real time. And they had most of the citizens duped into believing that it was a great thing. It's a great thing to take your vax. It's a great thing to do what they say because they said it. And if you had freedom of speech, and if you exercise your freedom of speech that you was against, your channel was taken away. Just like that. If you was saying your freedom of exercising your freedom of speech while you was traveling public transportation, Amtrak or whatever, was none and void. Nobody listened to you. You couldn't get on it anyway. I know. Facts. You go to banks. I remember banks, and you didn't have your mask. And it been times you didn't even need your mask going into the banks. But I was stopped at right at the front of the bank by this old man because I didn't have a mask on. I forgot about it, left it at home, whatever. But I had to make it. But that mandate was even dropped, and he wouldn't let me in, blocked me. I told him I had to get his supervisor, and then she let me in, of course. And eventually, he got fired. But freedom of speech, it's a dying art. You don't have your rights. You know, they get most of the population believing in one thing, like sheep. So you're going to be considered a rebel within society. Now, question you're going to ask, what should I do? And I just said earlier, you're going to have to learn to live a basic life, or be prepared to live a basic life. What I mean, what are you going to do if you didn't have a cell phone? You know, our foreparents, before the cell phone, you had the beeper. Before the beeper, you just had a regular landline. And then when you wanted to communicate with somebody, you didn't have social media, so you couldn't email. You had to literally mail a letter out to somebody. And if they didn't have a phone, you definitely had to mail them a letter. And then wait for their response a week or two later to mail you back. Because if you have a mindset of being a person that is outspoken, certain privileges, basic privileges, can be indirectly taken away from you. You can't go to certain, let's say for example, you can go to let's say for example, you go to the airport and you have a debate with the flight attendant at the airport. They say, you debating because let's say you bought the ticket and they say you didn't. Now you arguing with them, hey, I bought the ticket online. Here's a picture of my proof of payment. But they say, no, we don't have it in the system. Now you arguing with the customer service rep at that airline. I didn't mean flight attendant. I'm using the customer service rep at that particular airline. And you arguing with them. And they say, no, sir or ma'am, keep your voice down. And you like, who are you talking to? Now, this never happened to me. I'm just giving you a good example. Who are you talking to? And say, no, sir or madam, you need to keep your voice down. Well, I'm talking to you. You're not being loud. You're just talking to that person. But they saying, oh, you need to keep your voice down. And you're like, who are you talking to? Who the F you talking to? I'm a grown person just like you. No, I'm going to call the authorities now. Now they call the authorities, and that customer service rep tells the authorities, oh, this person here is bullying me. Now the authorities say, sir or ma'am, you got to leave the airport. And now you're saying, what? I'm just stating my belief. I purchased my ticket. It's online. Here's a copy. They say they don't have it. But here's the proof. Authorities say, well, sir or ma'am, you might have shown it. You might have it here, but they don't have it in the system. Now you got to leave. Why I have to leave? Because you're being too loud. You're being too aggressive. What? What are you talking about? I'm just talking. This type of conversation happens all over every day within the public. Now you got to leave because you was talking in a strong tone. You didn't curse at the person. You just talking. How many times we as citizens had to deal with this personally, or we know individuals that had to deal with this? Freedom of speech, freedom to express yourself. And then if you don't leave the property, now they putting charges on you as trespassing because they told you to leave and you just refused that couple of seconds or couple of minutes because you arguing your point. Now the cuffs is on you. Now you charged for trespassing. All because you show proof of your ID or proof of purchase, but they don't have it in the system, and you arguing your point, and he or she calls the law on you and say you bullying, and now you're arrested because of you expressing yourself. Goes on every day in the public, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you saying you're not limited? This is what it is. I could give you many different examples. Let's say you at a public place again, on the bus or the train. And if you're at the airport, if you're on the plane and you arguing with someone, let's say it's just no fights, no cursing, but you're in an argument with a flight attendant, that's a federal charge. You can go to jail you can be charged on the federal, because this is federal airspace. That's a different crime if you're being charged on the federal level versus a state level. Trespassing on the federal level is different from trespassing on a local level. I don't want Fed charges on nothing. Just saying. Because you can get banned from being at an airport, or at all airports, or whatever, depending on the situation. Expressing yourself. Freedom of speech. People could use certain words. Bullying. That's debatable. Somebody could say, I'm bullying them. Just for the words that I'm saying, I'm being a bully. And that could be a charge laid because I'm speaking a certain way, a certain tone. He's bullying. This is what it is in this day and time. This is what it is in this day and time. Believe it. Limited. You are limited in real time every day. So all of you rebels out here, it is mandatory for you to